Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. We'll be talking everything Denver sports and beyond. Please like and subscribe if you are a sports fan like me. Let's do this.
Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. Denver Broncos go to Tampa Bay and win a game in which I had thought they really had no shot of winning. They go into Tampa and defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 26-7 in a game that actually was not even as close as that score might indicate. Broncos controlled this one from the outset, had a dominating lead at halftime, and really didn't have to do much in the second half to secure the victory. Broncos are improving on all three levels: defense, offense, special teams. Offense is just way more polished and functional. Overall, it's just the whole operation is just a lot smoother. Sean Payton definitely had a week to adjust, as I had begged him to. Broncos had a lot more balance on offense. They did not ask the rookie quarterback in his third game to throw 40 times, which they had been doing in the previous two games. Also, this is a kudos to Sean Payton. He knows the NFC South very well, as he was head coach of the New Orleans Saints for years. So this Bucs defense, while not being quite at the height of they were when Tom Brady was there and they won the Super Bowl, there are still very good players on this Bucs team, and they are coached by a fantastic head coach in Todd Bowles, who's an excellent defensive mind and coordinator. Broncos really played their best overall game in quite some time. Bronco offensive line really was quite exceptional this time. Ran the ball, 129 yards on the ground and 0 sacks. Granted, Bo Nix was able to scramble out of a few that might have been a sack, but no sacks. We had 28 rushing plays versus 36 throwing. So Bo Nix is not dropping back to pass 40, 45, 50 times a game, it's just not a way to win right now with a rookie quarterback who's still learning on the job. So really felt like this was a team effort. Broncos played complementary football, which they have not done in a long time, where they got contributions from not only multiple players, but multiple units in the same game, and pretty much controlled the game and beat a very good playoff contending team in the NFC. The Bucs they are very good. They were 2-0 coming in. Many people had not picked the Broncos to win, including myself. Broncos surprised us all and come away with a 26-7 victory in Tampa Bay. The development of Bo Nix continues, and he looks a lot more comfortable. Still running a little too much for my taste, 9 carries for 47 yards and a touchdown, but his running is to serve a purpose, picking up first downs, cleaning up broken plays, moving the chains. He's not running just to run. He's looking to pass, and if he has to, use his legs, which is fine. He also avoided any sort of monstrous hits. He knows how to slide. His running is not reckless, which is very good. Other thing he's doing is running the offense. He had completions to 9 different targets. Now, some would argue that the Broncos, with 9 different players catching a ball, would argue that they don't have a number one receiver. Okay. I'm good with 9 different targets because it means that the Broncos are multiple. It means they're hard to defend against. It means you can't just key off and shut down one dependent receiver. It also means that Bo Nix is not looking to only pass it to one guy. It makes him a lot harder to defend when you know that he's not going to his go-to receiver on every play when he needs a big conversion. And Todd Bowles is an excellent defensive mind and coordinator, one of, I'd say, top 3 in the league. And Bo Nix's numbers were not spectacular, but they were definitely functional, which is all we're looking for. This is his 3rd game. Nix ended up finishing 25 of 36 for 216 yards. Didn't have a throwing touchdown. Longest pass was 31 yards, but no sacks, no interceptions. Yeah, he had 1 or 2 that could have been picked off, but they weren't. So we can talk about coulda, woulda interceptions, but he's also a rookie. We're not going to do that. They weren't picked off. Final rating of 85. He's getting better. It's not even a question. He's getting better. And he continues to develop and continues to practice and continues to absorb information in Sean Payton's system. He's just going to look a lot better. He's running the offense. It looked like a functional offense. Yes, of course there is room for improvement. Did he make any super amazing, spectacular plays? No, not right now. And I'm okay with that because we're running a system for once that actually looks functional. It looks like a regular NFL offense. And if he continues to improve at the rate he is improving and the efficiency that's improving, Bo Nix could be a very good player by the end of this 2024 season. Broncos defense has improved much from the 2023 unit that gave up 70 points to the Miami Dolphins around this time last year. Broncos defense is getting better. They're getting contributions on all three levels: defensive line, linebackers, and secondary. All three levels: tip balls, batted balls, sacks, pressures, good coverage, pressure coming from everywhere. So it's hard to key off on one particular pass rusher. I think Jonathan Cooper is clearly still their single best pass rusher. But Zach Allen played a tremendous game, hogged up the middle, ended up with a sack. Broncos had 7 sacks by 6 different players. DeAndre Tillman, Jonathan Cooper, Zach Allen, Nick Benito, John Franklin Myers, Devin Key. 6 players, 7 sacks. So it's very hard to scheme against this particular defense if you don't really know where the pressure is coming from, if you don't know who's really going to rush or who's going to sack. And they really held Baker Mayfield in check, certainly in the first half. Bucks, 16 carries for 91 yards, so they held the Bucks to under 100 yards rushing and 0 rushing touchdowns, which is really good. This Bronco team had been quite poor in the past couple years against the run. You were able to run on them. And this one, they did quite well. Mayfield's final numbers, Baker Mayfield, he had a rough day. He was taking pressures, hits, the whole game. At one point, it looked like he even managed to get his wrist hurt a little bit. He went to the tent for a minute, came back out. Mayfield's final number is 25 of 33 for 163 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. A lot of those 163 yards came in the second half. And the Broncos were well up, and the game was pretty much out of reach. The Bucs certainly made it interesting for a little bit, but not much. And the 7 sacks the Broncos had for a loss of 31 yards was amazing. 7 sacks. I mean, they had whole stretches last year where they didn't have 7 sacks through 3 or 4 games. So I still think Jonathan Cooper should be your sack leader at the end of the season. But the good thing is Jonathan Cooper doesn't have to do it all by himself. Zach Allen, Jonathan Cooper, and a new addition, Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones, a player who was on the Ravens practice squad, picked up the Broncos this season. Brandon Jones, a nice, young, secondary defensive piece to perhaps play next to Patrick Surtain or Riley Moss, but his pick was definitely killed all of the Bucs' momentum in the second half, and I love to see the Broncos have a young, hungry contributor who just wants to make plays. Great to see it. After the Broncos' discouraging home loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I begged, pleaded, implored Sean Payton, pick it back. I don't care. Pick it back. I advocated for Javonte Williams, but clearly Javonte is not the same guy post-knee injury. He can still run okay. He actually does a better job of catching the ball these days, but he doesn't hit the hole with the same speed that he did. It just doesn't quite look the same. So looks like it's Tyler Bidet. There was some controversy on whether the announcers were saying his name correctly, but indeed it is Tyler Bidet, who comes out of the University of Missouri, where he played there a couple years, was drafted in the 6th round by the Baltimore Ravens, spent some time on their practice squad in 2022, then the Broncos in 2023, and now he is getting a shot to play for the Denver Broncos. Again, draft and develop. I like the fact that the young man's getting an opportunity here. He finished with 9 attempts, 70 yards, and he had the 1 long run for 43. He just looks more explosive. He's not the biggest guy. He's about 5'8", $180, but let's ride with it. Javonte's not the same. Jaleel McLaughlin, I wish he would get a few more carries. He only had 5 carries, 7 yards, but he did have the one super athletic play where basically they pitched it out to him on the edge in the red zone. He basically had to stop in his tracks, ran all the way around, and managed to score a rushing touchdown in the red zone for the Broncos, which is something they have desperately lacked in the last 5, 6, 7 years. Severely is any sort of running game or red zone efficiency with the run game to score touchdowns. So, Sean Payton, good job. You picked it back. I would say let's give Tyler Bidet a few more carries next time, because Bo Nix ended up with 9 carries, as I threw for 9 attempts, 47 yards. A lot of that was scrambling. But again, balance in the run game to balance out the pass game. And Tyler Bidet, young player, fine player. He will only continue to improve, especially if you feed him the ball, and I like his burst. So, a very encouraging win by the Denver Broncos in Tampa Bay. The development of Bo Nix continues. The running game is slowly improving. Defense is definitely better than it was last year and continues to improve. Just overall, the whole team continues to improve. It's not going to happen overnight. Bo Nix won't happen overnight, but you can see the building blocks where the Broncos are building towards something for the 2024 season, and that's really exciting. It's really fun. It makes it much more enjoyable to watch. I'm rooting for them. Broncos actually decided to stay on the East Coast. They are hanging out in West Virginia this week, so they will not be traveling back to Denver as they head to New Jersey to play the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers, a Jets team that I think is slightly overrated in terms of their potential, but they are a dangerous club. It's on the road, another early start for the Broncos. Dare I say, I think they have a shot at winning, but I do think this is a very tall order. If they were to win this game, this would be a massive win to win 2 road games on the East Coast against 2 teams that are favored to make the playoffs in each conference, respectively. So we'll see how it goes for the Broncos this week as they head to New York. Again, my name is Andrew Sharp. This is Sharp Sports 82 YouTube podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you like some of this content, please give me a like and maybe even a subscribe. If you have any football conversations you want to have in the comments below, I'm always down to talk ball. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.